I am Todd from GoodCleanFunLife.com.
And I'm Tony Rousseau from MotionSeed.com. We got plenty of stuff tonight. We got 2 weeks worth of stuff to talk about. I don't know if we're going to get to it all, but we're going to get to it most, or at least some. We've actually already gotten to some of it, like the introduction. Check.
Yeah.
All done. But before we get to that, let's start with the most recent thing, because I want to hear about Dogfish.
Yes, Dogfish, the quintessential craft brewer of the nation, is what I call them.
13th largest.
13th largest. Well, they have their holiday party, which they do now in January, and it's always a theme thing, and they do it at the Starboard. The Starboard basically has last couple of years brought us on.
I was going to say, you've covered it for like 3 or 4 years. You've covered it for a while.
Interestingly, the first video that we uploaded to the Starbird's YouTube page was the Dogfish party 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So this was our third one. You know, it's great. You know, talk about a cool company.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the culture there is outstanding. And this was a little bit different, I guess, because it's their 20-year anniversary. They had the theme, because they always do theme parties. And
right.
I don't know what it is that I am, you know, the theme master, but it just happens that way, right?
I have a theme story that I have to tell you.
Okay. Do we do that now?
I've been thinking about it ever since it happened to me.
Right.
Okay, I watch a really bad television show when I'm working out, and it's called...
Because it makes you more angry.
Z Nation. No, it's just because I don't have to pay. It's called Z Nation. It's a zombie.
Okay, right.
And it's not good. I'm not recommending it. I'm just saying that I watch it. And without enthusiasm. But there's this one part where they come into a town that was having a cheese day parade, and everyone is dressed like an absolute idiot, and that's when the zombie apocalypse came. So they're all walking around in these ridiculous costumes, and I'm like, that is why I don't go to theme parties.
So that's going to happen to me on a Tuesday night.
If there's a zombie apocalypse, you will not be dressed in the way that you will want to be dressed for eternity.
It will be.
You heard it here first.
It will be an anything but clothes party, and I'll be
wearing
wearing a trash
barrel, right?
Yeah.
And then you'll be more easily identified by your loved ones.
Right. Well, if the zombie apocalypse happened this past weekend,
yes.
The Dogfish crew would have looked very nice. Because their theme was, you know, the award show, Hollywood, the award show.
Mm-hmm.
And it was cool because they actually, then they had an award show and handed out some stuff. And it was great. We did a little, you know, man on the scene spot. A girl who works with Dogfish was there. She was pulling people over, interviewing. We were just going through the footage and putting that all together. It's pretty snappy, fun stuff. And it's just great to be, you know, great to be part of the party that they do every year and get a little bit of recognition. And who knows, you know, your friend Matt Funk won an award.
Very exciting. And he just, what a
breakout of the year.
And he just a genuine dude. Like, you know, there are not
a bro.
Many people. No, just a dude. Yeah, no. There are not many people who are genuinely happy to see me, and he's one of them. And I'll die for you. There's like you. There are like 7 people on the planet who are like, hey,
right.
I'm not upset that I saw you.
I'm one of 5 that will have you in their house.
Yeah. But yeah, no, he's just a good guy. I was saying, I met him at a book signing earlier this year. Dogfish poured the beer, and I signed the books, and he poured more beer than I signed the books. But and just I bumped into him a couple times. We do events, and I mean I cover beer events, and he came to Laurel when I was at the Laurel Star, and so I got him in the paper. People always, that's it, when you put people in the paper, they like that.
Yeah, you know? Yeah.
And increasingly on the internet, I'm finding that you were just...
That's why I brought him up.
Yeah, you're just a full 7 years ahead of your time. Like, people are like, oh, you're going to put this on a website? It like means something now?
Right.
That it didn't mean 5 years ago. I don't think it really. People are like, oh, what will this be on?
Just imagine when somebody says, I'm on your podcast that we've been doing for 4 years.
That's crazy.
And we've amassed about a dozen
hardcore though
views. Not viewers,
no,
views.
Yes.
But we took a couple weeks off.
Yes.
Dogfish was what happened most recently for us. But you were up in Annapolis, or
was in Annapolis, as you may or may not have heard. Probably not, but it's not my fault. February is Craft Beer Lovers Month in Maryland, and so we were up there for the announcement. Really, really interesting. I hate politics. It's just so tragically boring to me. And I was telling this to my representative, who's a friend of mine, and he happened to be there. You have a guy in and out.
I got a guy,
right? So they have those not little offices. They have like nice little offices.
Yeah.
I don't mean small. I just mean quaint. And we were talking about it, and I'd been there for maybe 15 minutes. I'm like, I do not know how you can do this. I just it's just exhausting. It's just absolutely exhausting. But there is some beer legislation that's kind of a problem. I've actually talked about this for several years. The grain thing. Just real quick, in case you run into anybody who cares about this. 3 years ago, somebody at the FDA said, "Oh, we have rules for what grain you're allowed to feed farm animals."
Okay.
Oh, we have breweries who are giving their grain away to farmers. They're not following the grain rules. And so there was about 6 months where everybody was in kind of a tizzy because they didn't want the feds to regulate their grain.
Right.
And the feds
because it's a great symbiotic relationship that the brewers have with the farmers.
Right. And what the rules are meant to do is, and it is not shitting on them, but like to prevent ConAgra from dumping all of the corn they make ethanol from into the feed. We don't want that. Right. I mean, I don't care. I haven't had a hamburger in 40 years.
But somebody
must. and so that's what the rule is for. And the feds looked at it. They looked at it for 6 months. There was lots of reviews, lots of screaming, lots of angry op-eds. And they're like, you know what? We're not going to do it. Unfortunately, when you make a federal law, which this law was made in the 60s or whatever, then all the states have to make their own laws. And even though this happened 2 years ago, one by one, some schmuck at the state says, hey, there are rules for feeding cows. There are breweries. What are we going to do about this? And then everybody gets in a tizzy. So 7 states have already
changed it.
They just put in, except for breweries that make less than
X number of barrels.
Yeah, X number of barrels per year, or tons, or whatever per year. And Maryland just got the memo. And they're like, and it's just several. It's not a conspiracy. That several people at departments of energies in Hartford County they just got a bunch of breweries, and somebody's like, oh, I wonder what happens to that grain. What are we supposed to do with grain? Oh, well, we give it to a local farmer. Really? You don't have it inspected? No, we haven't had it inspected in a decade.
Right.
And so the brewers, this poor guy was there, the chemist. He's the state chemist. He started on January 4th. It is now January 20th. And he's standing in front of maybe 30 brewers who are just screaming at this poor bastard.
Right.
And it was fun to watch. Because I wasn't him. And the guy had to go 500 pounds. And he's sweating. And I'm like, again, for 70% of the time I'm out in public, I'm looking for Christopher Guest.
Yeah.
It feels vaguely staged.
Right.
It feels like, okay, I want you guys to go scream at this great huge fat guy.
Yeah.
Go.
For my entertainment.
Right. And then we had the state spoke about tourism. So anyway, big deal. We're the only ones on the Eastern Shore. We're making a big deal about it. We had a fight, and so it's coming back to social media in a second. I had a little fight with the tourism people because they wanted to call it February, which is fucking dumb. The reason it's dumb isn't because it's precious and clever, although that is a reason.
Right.
But it's also common and everyone uses it. And they're like, okay, well, we're going to do February, Maryland. It's February MD. F-E, capital B-R-E-W, A-R-Y, capital M-D.
Right.
Like, I have too much to say. You're taking characters from me. But fine. My boss says, shut up. So,
do it.
Would you like to know how many people in the state of Maryland have used that hashtag so far?
One? Just you.
Jerko. I was. My head almost came off.
So you're the only one that's
I'm the only one using it. I'm also the only one tweeting about February, but it's gonna happen, and we're gonna do a little television next week, 6 o'clock in the morning. I'll call you, wake you up.
Yeah, please do.
My boss will be on WMDT. They do a talk show in the morning, and she'll be talking about it. And the thing that I'd like to tell you about, I'd like to invite everybody to, is there is a beer talk and tasting at the Clarion, and we have 9 of the local brewers have chosen 9 cheeses that they're going to pair their beer with. And we're hoping to get a lot of people out. Usually about 100 people come to this. If we could get more, that'd be great.
Right.
But it's just, each of the brewers is going to talk about how they selected their cheese.
Yeah.
And to go with their particular beer. And the idea is we're going to try to talk more about how to pair your beer, not just why this tastes good with this, but how to think about it. And the beer talking tastings, we invite like a lot of servers and hotel people so they can make suggestions. They can make suggestions, just like sommeliers, except a little bit. It doesn't have to be huge, but just a couple more words to use, a couple new ways to think about how the tastes go together. So
good. And hopefully,
that came out of Annapolis. So I was in. They're like, "You should do this." I'm like, "Okay," and I did it. And they're like, "Yeah, we didn't do that."
Yeah.
It's like that's what it was very frustrating because I'm arrogant. I was like, "Hey, this is a good idea." They're like, "Yes, everyone has to do that. And we need to know how it's done by tomorrow." I'm like, "Okay." And tomorrow, I'm like, "Here it is." And they're like, "Yeah, we changed our minds while you were."
Yeah. Thanks for the work.
Yeah. Last but not least, I'm making videos, and they are not nearly as good as yours. But my second video came out. It's still super cute. My Harry Met Sally video.
Oh, right.
And I'm hoping to do one with Zach this week or next week.
Yeah.
I can't get in touch with him, but he's just back from his honeymoon. I'm not even sure he's sobered up yet.
I saw him last week. Yes. That's awesome.
I just sent him an email over the storm holiday.
Our blonde intern, our first intern, the first GCFL intern.
I still have a picture of the other guy giving me the finger. I can't remember his name. With the beard. He was the film. He used to do the film. He was from Salisbury University.
Oh, Jesse.
That's not right.
No, that's who I worked with. Intern?
Good, clean Farron.
Oh.
Farron?
He never had a beard.
All right. Maybe he just never shaved on Tuesdays. I mean, you technically have a beard.
Well, yeah, I guess so. I'm working on the. I'm working. You go to a party like the Dogfish party, and you have to have some facial hair.
That's what. When people ask me if I brew, I'm like,
yeah, I'm not allowed.
Duh. But getting back, I created a segue and then I squished on it. So snow weekend.
Yes. Hopefully it doesn't snow for your February.
Yes.
But we survived here. Obviously, I think a lot better on the Eastern Shore than parts to the west. But flooding and all of that, a major thing. You had talked about the type of engagement that you're getting on that sort of thing. We talked a little bit about the viral nature of stuff with weather reporting.
Yes, and people are. For someone who is so not interested in it, it's always going to surprise me a little bit how into the weather people are.
Right.
They're very into it.
Yeah.
And I don't begrudge them. It's just, there are a lot of people, for instance, in Pennsylvania and Western Maryland generally, who are like, what's going on with my beach house?
Right.
It's just very simple.
I haven't invested
They're looking to see. But there are other people that it's just, I don't know. I guess I don't know why people like most things. Yeah, I'm not a good barometer of that.
Right.
But they do I don't think it's just somebody suggested that they like to share bad news. I don't 100%. I think they like to share news. I think it's not news unless it's almost bad, right? Or a soldier hugging his dog.
Yeah.
Those are the two things.
A soldier hugging his dog in a flood.
Right.
While there's a blizzard on the other side of the bridge.
I'll take a billionth of a penny a hit on that one.
But but you there was a bunch of things. We you had mentioned that it's kind of like, oh, well, I have to work. I have to create content because this major event is happening. And certainly part of it is people are kind of locked. There's, locked in. People are hunkered down.
Right.
And then they're still craving the information that they, of the outside world. So if you're one of the brave ones to go out and you capture something cool, like, one of our clients, 99 Sea Level, there were a couple pictures of the hotel that they're a part of because the dunes, the huge dunes in Bethany, are completely gone.
Yeah.
Which is, whatever you feel about that.
There's no more dirt. They'll go get it. They'll go get it. They just go back into the ocean and pull it back.
Right.
They should have a great
big rake. Like $1 million.
A great huge rake that stands over to it and goes once every 10 years.
Yeah. Or once every nor'easter.
It could be a festival. The Great Rake Festival.
There was a dune breach in our beloved Dewey, that had a stream running from the ocean to the bay.
Oh wow!
And it's funny because then I go on the map and they're like, whatever, Beach Avenue, and it's the one spot where there aren't dunes, and there are like 4 houses that are built like right out on the water, like just as you're coming into Dewey.
Right.
And then it's like, oh well, that's why. But you know, I had just recently wrote a post about you know, your company or your business or your brand not having the directive of trying to go viral. However, a storm event, there's not going to be a whole lot of negative backlash from putting stuff out there.
Right. And I think that maybe maybe it's being discussed, and trying everything you do, you I guess should be you should make it so that you're not embarrassed if everybody sees it.
Right. Yes.
You know, so in that sense, but I don't. I think for me as somebody who makes this stuff, there has to be at least an element of authenticity, and those are the things that connect. I'm writing a story now about I spent the night, 3 hours. At the bar at the Green Turtle with all the old men telling all the old men stories about the Green Turtle in the 80s. If anybody can get through it, it's going to be like 1,000 words. But if anybody can get through it, it is really, really, really good. It's really engaging, and they're real people saying real things, and that's the kind of thing that I think people connect with. And I think if you're constantly trying to connect with people,
right,
the viral thing can happen. Like that's the only way it's going to happen is if you make a connection, or you see a monkey running down the street.
Right.
You know,
in a snowsuit.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
One of the things that I noticed, again, this is my first storm at oceancity.com, is that the number of people who are posting things to our page for us to share. And I don't know how you advise your people, but I would advise anybody that you have to keep a really close eye on what your visitors post.
Oh, yeah.
Because when your visitors post something, if you share it and it gets traction, they are more likely to. I mean, there are people now, like I could share a different photo of Ocean City every 15 or 20 minutes. And once I'm
because people are drunk with the attention.
Drunk with the internet power, yeah. Because I mean, if you put a video on, if I put a video up, it's a minimum of, let's say, 2,000 likes.
Yeah.
You know, it'll say 800 million views or whatever, but it's 2,000 likes, 5,000 likes, 10,000 likes. You know.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, I better get back out there with my camera. People like when I do that. You feel like you're making that connection.
Right.
And so if you do it in a way that's not exploitive, and I'm constantly thanking them. That's the other thing. Whenever, like at the end of this event, every once a month, and it's not on my calendar, it's just something I do every now and again. I'm like, you know what? I didn't have to do a lot of this.
Right.
You know?
Because it was sent to me.
And so I'll say, you know, so every time someone says, thank you guys for posting all the great pictures, I'm like, hey, we post a lot, but we don't post them all. You guys post a bunch of them.
Right.
And everybody deserves a pat on the back because it's great that you guys share stuff here. But the trouble, as we've discussed regularly, is getting them from Facebook.
Yeah.
To
the next step.
To the next step.
And you know, and that's debatable as to how important that is, and you know what the future will bear in terms of, you know, the homepage. Is a website homepage dead?
Well, you know what? I feel like it might not be, because something that we've noticed, and I think everybody's noticed this isn't a secret, is that addy stuff doesn't get.
Oh, right.
Even if it's subtle, well, as subtle as an ad can be, it doesn't get the kind of traction that just regular stuff gets.
Right. I know that I think people are more sensitive to it, to the point where, you know, you know that you post something, we post something that's good, clean, fine. Right. And it's offensive for me to remind somebody what we do. You know, it's like we'll share an example of what we do, or make a crack or a joke or you know, or a reference to it. But if we're just to straight up solicit, hey, call us for your, you know, for your video needs.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Like,
it would be gross. I don't have it here. I grabbed my phone, not so subtly, I know. Yeah, but there was a great article I read this week, and I think it was New Yorker, that was about how it wasn't talking about internet marketing directly, but it made me think of it. It's like in the future now. There's you saying how great your product is, of course.
Yeah.
Hey, come, we have the shittiest wings on the Eastern Shore. Who said that?
You're right.
But having it said by someone else,
yes,
is where you get traction and power. Which is what I think I told you this. I don't know if you've done this or not, but I'm recommending it to everybody. Is I have a professional Tony Russo the Writer Facebook page,
right?
And I use that
to say things
about other things.
Well, and
because for credibility, as well as because it makes more sense for it's me.
Yeah.
And if somebody takes a shot at oceancity.com on oceancity.com, I respond as me. I'm like, hey,
yeah.
Thanks for catching that spelling error.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
the grammar Nazis.
Yes. Yeah.
And well, I mean, and you look at the examples like Marriott always comes up, and that they've created a separate almost media company. I mean, Red Bull is always a shining example of that. If there was a great story that came out recently, a little girl left her bunny at a hotel. So the hotel just takes pictures of the bunny in a bunch of different locations and like getting a massage and blah, blah, blah. And then somebody else does a story about what they've done.
Right.
And all of a sudden, this is like a great opportunity where they've taken, an event and they've told a story, but they're not the focus of the story.
Right.
They're just the backdrop of the story.
And that's how I think we're best advising people to go, and again, I'm fortunate because I can say, hey, let me write about you. And, they don't have a problem with it. But I mean, I have a track record now, so that helps.
Right.
But writing the stories, like the Green Turtle is not about the Green Turtle. The Green Turtle is a backdrop. I do happy hour adventures every week. I'm going to go to the Hoof and Shell? Horn and Shell.
Horn and Shell.
That's where I just
was. Up in
I was
Rehoboth,
just there. No, in West Up, next to the bottle shop.
Yeah. The Bull on the Beach place.
Yes.
Okay.
I was just there for lunch. It was very nice.
Oh, nice.
But I'm gonna go because I was gonna go there at night to do the happy hour thing. And Donnie Jackson, who I know he was a bartender at Evo.
Oh, okay.
He said he's like, I want to try. So I'm gonna go. We're gonna move happy hour to Friday. I think I'll move it back to Tuesday maybe when the season's in, but there are too many places that are just flat dead not open.
Right.
So I would rather just go home early on Tuesdays instead of staying. There are a couple of stories that I've done, and it makes it look like the place is full of itself. But the point is that I do it about the people in the place.
Right.
And that's interesting and exciting. But it also is like, but I never say, the best wings on Eddie was eating the best wings on the Eastern Shore at the Green Turtle. You're going to lose him that way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Instead, I told him about having I don't know how long. Have you been to the Green Turtle, like the old Green Turtle in the 80s? No, you're too young. I wasn't there either.
Did I go in the 80s?
They used to have a spiral staircase.
Oh, okay.
And guys used to sit at the bottom and make bets on the girls' underwear colors as they would go. And I heard that from multiple people.
Yeah. Multiple
people. And that is a great story. That is a great little tidbit that's hidden in this, not hidden, it's a sentence in the story. Right. But that's something that you're drawn to, and
right.
It's just, and I said, it's like, it's quaint and also really creepy. Like, they weren't telling it to me like, oh, this is quaint and creepy. They were telling me like, oh, those were the good old days.
Right.
I'm like, yeah, but it's still weird. It's still weird. I've never looked up anyone's dress on purpose. I certainly couldn't make an evening of it.
Right.
But there was a time, and they were smoking while they did it, you know? And,
yes.
Yeah, spitting on the floor.
Well, and and maybe not that particular line of the story, but implied in that is when people are talking about the good old days is like, you have to have a place that's good enough that it will survive and people will keep coming back.
That's exactly
and
where I
will
went.
Still and went there then and still go there now and can look longingly at.
That might have been the very end of that paragraph you made. Did you already read
Did I write it for you?
When you read it, you're not going to get that far because that's like 450 words down. So I just don't want you to think that I stole it from you because I already wrote that part.
Good.
But it said pretty much that.
That's perfect. Yeah, I mean, and we've been doing a bunch of stuff. We're trying to do, I don't know if you caught it, we're doing a little, help hint videos to try to just generate some of our philosophy and some of it. I mean, there's definitely salesy stuff we do, but it's also intended to be helpful, kind of like this when we talk about what we think works and what doesn't work and how you can do things. There's a surprisingly a lot of people out there who still have no clue.
Yeah, no, who want to know, and that's exactly. It's different when it's in your face.
Right.
Come do this. Come pay me to do this. And when you're like, hey, would you like to know how this works? Let me show you.
Yeah.
And then the how. I mean, I've watched too many how-to videos, and like a minute and a half in, I'm like, fuck you. That's 90 seconds I'll never get back. I knew that coming in.
Right.
And the video's a minute and 45 seconds long. And you're like, oh, we've already gotten, you're not going to tell me in the next 15 seconds.
Yeah.
What you already didn't tell me in the first 100.
My favorite thing to do with how-to videos, here's a how-to. Here's Todd and Tony's tip. I just added myself to the tip. When you're watching how-to videos, you go to the little cogwheel on your YouTube player, and you watch it at like 1.5 or 2 times the speed.
Oh, there you go.
Because I'm like, I'm not going to watch a 4-minute video. I can watch it in 2. And the guy talks fast, and you can get to the sweet spot of what you.
And then you can stop it, and you can listen to it.
Right.
That makes utter sense.
Yeah.
And the other thing with the videos, I was noticing you did it when I came in here. You put part of the video on Facebook, and have you tried that? Yeah, so we do that. We've done that a lot, and so we'll make a 2-minute for YouTube. We'll make a 30 to 45 second boom, boom, boom for Facebook with subtitles if need be, and then maybe even boil it down to a 15-second for Instagram. Yeah, I don't have the time, but when I want to start cutting off these little stories that I'm doing for that, for Facebook for that reason. Because again, what I'm seeing is that, and it's funny when you go to YouTube and you see that they watched it for 1 minute and 30 seconds. Yeah. You're like, yeah. How did you give up? You came this far. Yeah. You clicked on it, you hit play, you let it load, and it's not. And the stories are fine, you know. But I think it really is. I want to. And the other thing is, I don't want to have too much of my content on Facebook. Right. My boss isn't nuts about having it on YouTube, but I don't care. Still trying to drive to the site. To the site, which is it's just that's I don't know that we have a video player that's that good or that engaging or that. Yeah, it's difficult, and one of the. Actually, the 5 predictions in digital marketing that I made, one is something that I read about an omni-channel, and that your numbers that you're going to be in OceanCity.com's case, you have paid ads and stuff like that, right? So you got to give numbers of how many clicks are coming to your paid site. But it's the omni-channel. It's it's YouTube, it's Facebook, it's Twitter, it's all of those things, and you got to doing. You got to take all of those into account, and when you're talking to potential advertisers, even. Yeah. So that's my little tip to Todd's tip. What else do we got? Do we have anything else? Did we run out of time while I wasn't looking? We're doing the video messages. We have lots of fun stuff coming up too. I took down the board because I thought we were going to be shooting towards it, but yeah. We're going to be putting things to the test. We're going to be trying to do some videos for unsexy companies. It's real easy to do a nice video. Yeah, drinking at bars is easy enough to look at, right? Yeah, right. But doing some other stuff too to just continue with the digital marketing. Yeah, and on my end, it's pretty much the same thing. I've got I told you, but I didn't tell them. I solved the audio problem. So hopefully next week we'll go with audio. We'll see. We can talk about.
Oh, okay, cool.
But I can bring the little. It's really good. I couldn't find out why my $400, $300. It's always more expensive when it doesn't work. It's like $270.
It goes up there.
It's real. I have my $400 paperweight. I had to unload half of it because after I bought it, like between the time I left the store and the time I got home, it became incompatible. Like at the store, they're like, "Yes, this works with Macintosh," and I got home and they're like, "Officially, we no longer work with Macintosh."
In the drive home, they made the decision.
They did.
Stamped it.
And it's one of those things where like I should have brought it right back. I'm like, I'll find a workaround, and then
and then you have
my life happened. But I've got it all set. So hopefully, I'm gonna try it out on the podcast with Doug on Thursday. Beer with Strangers, if you'd like to watch or listen, or both. And then maybe we can do it here, and we can talk about offline how we're doing that.
Okay, very good.
And I got nothing else. How about you?
I got nothing.
All right. Well, may Todd give you the sense to live in a small town.
We'll see you next week at Happy Hour.